What's up, guys? Hope you guys have a week so far. Once again, bringing you guys another war video, looking at all the Emperor's war gear. So, if you guys haven't heard anything about Warhammer before, Emperor is stupidly OP. That's probably the most simplistic way to put it. Basically, the Chaos Gods are afraid of him, and the Chaos Gods are OP, so he's like OP squared. So the Emperor just don't mess around. The guy was a literal menace. I mean, the guy's a skeleton, and he really allows the Imperium to travel like warp space, to go through literally into the warp itself to fast travel. So, but yeah, the guy's OP. I'm excited to see what kind of gear he got because his armor looks sick. But we're gonna cover stuff, hopefully in depth enough, but we shall see what is covered in this video. But like always, check the original video in the description. Like every creator I ever react to, take a lot of time and effort to compile all this information to an easy understand video, not just for you guys, but also for me, since I am still a Warhammer noob and I suck at Warhammer lore. So please check him out. Major Kill is a phenomenal creator. I think saying that's even an understatement. So show him some love. If you guys enjoy my content, if you guys enjoy my reactions, please hit the like and subscribe. Let's get to it.
G'day guys and gal. The Emperor of Mankind is the man of Warhammer 40k.
Ooh, that armor, though.
Pretty much everything that has happened in the setting can be traced back to him in some form.
So awesome.
The Chaos Gods are scared of him, countless near infinite Imperial citizens worship him, and every single problem the galaxy has is partially his fault, which is counterbalanced by the fact that all the
He's also a shit father.
dope shit that has happened is also partially his fault. He caused all of this mayhem whilst wearing some serious drip and using some pretty obscenely overpowered weapons. Love him or hate him, the Emperor has some serious style. But his gilded gold bling isn't just for show. Each piece of his war gear is a unique, wildly powerful specimen, giving its wielder immense power, and that is worth talking about. Before we get started, as I announced on Monday, the most badass major mini I've ever produced is here, modeled by the legendary art canon.
Okay, that looks super fucking dope. Holy crap. I have to skip this bit, but that looks dope. I'm not gonna lie. Look at that. That looks dope.
The tabletop greatest left. We very limited printing, a bit more to go over each. The Emperor's war gear is featuring more and more in the current lore.
Good that looks,
G-Man
man.
having the sword, the Lion having the shield, and so on. I read somewhere that each of the returning Loyalist Primarchs would receive a piece of the Emperor's gear, with the Lion's new shiny shield being a new creation that was backdated to receive some lore. So we can expect GW to pull some shit out of their ass and create new Emperor ornaments for some, if not all, of the returning Loyalist Primarchs. Let's start with the sword, his greatest and most used weapon, and something that has been in the lore for some time now. No matter the time, place, or setting, flaming swords are fucking cool, and the Emperor's one is sick. It's a perfect blend of psychic might and technological prowess, as fundamentally, it's a very well-made power sword, as you can see by the power nodes running down it. It takes elements of Dark Age of Technology stuff, which explains its extreme sharpness and durability. However, it has been massively modified by the Emperor to allow him to channel his psychic might into it. Those flames are purely psychic, which give it an entirely new level of power. See, the sword is the ultimate demon killer. Whenever it cuts a demon, the raw might of the Emperor burns out its essence and permanently kills the demon, which in turn permanently kills a piece of its Chaos God. There aren't many things in the setting that can permakill demons, but the Emperor's sword is one of them. Thus, demons are shit scared of the sword, as it turns the great game into less of a game and more of a holy shit, I'm not actually immortal. It can even kill demon Primarchs and greater demons. With the sharpness of the blade as well as the flames, there is nothing it cannot cut through. Even adamantium parts like butter underneath its cut, with only the most obscenely well-crafted or powerful weapons being able to block it, without shattering or simply being cut through. A few of you may be wondering why it lights up in Guilliman's hands since he isn't a psyker. That is because the sword has been basking in the Emperor's psychic might for so long that it has literally become a part of him. Thus, whenever someone worthy wields it, they can wield the Emperor's might to ignite the blade and give it its full potency.
That's so
Guilliman
cool.
remarks that he can feel the Emperor's presence whenever he ignites it, further proving that it is more so an extension of the Emperor than merely a sword. G-Man also believes that it isn't at its full potential, and if wielded by the Emperor himself, it could become even more powerful. This seems to have been proven during the War in the Webway, where the Emperor unleashed a torrent of psychic fire so powerful that it literally blew a hole in an entire army of demons, killing thousands in one hit and providing a safer route for Ryan Dimian to escape the battle. The lore regarding how it came to Guilliman's possession is kind of weird and has been retconned like 5 times now, as GW couldn't decide how they wanted to do it, so the lore is actually kind of fucked up. In one
Yeah.
version, G-Man randomly finds it on an ice world on the way to Terra, which is stupid. In another
That's
version,
dumb.
he was given it after the Horus Heresy and had it stored with him while he was in stasis. In another version, Belsarius Cole looked after it and gave it to Gilliman as part of his awakening. And finally, the version I like is that it was sitting on the Emperor's lap in the throne room for 10,000 years, basking in his raw psychic might
But that
and
makes the most
allowing him to
sense.
imprint a part of his soul onto it.
But that makes the most sense, and it also kind of shows like how it's waiting for its next wielder, you know, like shit, I can't think of it, but what's that one mythology thing where like the sword's in the rock and only the worthy one can pull it out? Man, I'm trying to look like a complete idiot, but it kind of feels like that a little bit. It's like it's there waiting for its champion. I don't know. That's kind of how I think about it. I think that's the best way to look at it. At least that's my favorite way to compare it to the lore, uh, because I'm gonna follow him on this and saying that when the sword's laying in the Emperor's lap, that just kind of makes the most sense, and it probably looks badass as shit too. So
it. Then, when Gilliman met with the Emperor and the Emperor deemed him worthy, he allowed G-Man to take the sword and call upon the Emperor's flames at will. Regardless of what version you like, the result is the same. G-Man wields the sword in each battle, scaring the shit out of demons as he does so. The Emperor's shield is the next bit of war gear I want to discuss, and despite being an original creation for the Lion, it wasn't just conjured out of nowhere. See, the design of the shield is almost the exact same as the one on the Emperor's pauldron in official art. However, it's not clear if it was taken off the armor and then psychically resized itself to fit the Lion, or if that was based off the shield that the Emperor used to wield into battle before he swapped it for a talon. After all, good fucking luck holding a shield with an arm like that. What we do know is that upon beating the Emperor's Warp Guardian and claiming the shield, the Lion received a vision from the Emperor's perspective of him wielding the shield before a legendary battle. So at some point, the Emperor used it before he decided he could just have a psychic force field around him at all times, and that shields were pretty obsolete. While the power of the shield isn't as obvious as a flaming sword, it's still extremely valuable. It appears to be able to reflect the force of an attack back upon the attacker, which is very handy for stronger opponents. It also seems to be extra effective on demons or warp creatures, with the Lion using it to destroy the Emperor's Guardian of the Shield, and then going on to bash Angron's brains out with it, banishing his brother. Angron doesn't banish easily. It took Sanguinius a fuck-off huge battle that ended with him ripping out Angron's butcher's nails to banish him, so for Old Man Lion to be able to do it with the shield shows just how much punch the shield actually has.
Imagine with the sword too.
Was only really possible due to the shield, as it absorbed then reflected Angron's massive attacks. Without the shield, the Lion would have been fucked. The theme seems to be that the Emperor's weapons and armaments is what evens the playing field between the loyalist Primarchs, who are mostly unchanged since the Horus Heresy, and the traitors, who have been turbocharged with raw power. Next is the Emperor's Talon, or Lightning Claw. As this hasn't returned to the setting, the lore regarding it is a lot slimmer than the other weapons. It also seems as if the Emperor had multiple variants of it, as sometimes he would have 3 or 4 or 5 claws on it. It seems to be a secondary weapon, allowing the Emperor to become a hurricane of sword and claw against these enemies, perhaps breaking their guard with the claw and then allowing a clean strike with the sword. However, that's all we really know. I'm sure it was mastercrafted, and I'm sure if it does return, it will have all these dope-ass abilities, like being able to cleanly circumcise 5 dudes at once, but for now, it's just an extreme
I can never be prepared for what he's gonna say. Oh, why?
Extremely fatal thing. If
Now I was
it does
going with
return,
it.
I can imagine it would either replace one of Corvus's lightning claws, although I'm not sure how the clash of unmarked black armor with an extremely ornate golden claw would look
like
from an aesthetics perspective. More likely, it would return with Rogel Dawn, who would use it to replace his missing hand. As his armor is naturally gold and ornate, it would fit quite seamlessly. The Emperor also forged a twin set of spears during the Age of Strife, the Apollonian Spear and its twin, the Dionysian Spear. These would later be given to Constantine Valdor and Lehman Russ during the Heresy, but since it was created ages before this, we could say that they were originally the Emperor's weapons. The Dionysian Spear gave the truth to those it cut, whilst the Apollonian Spear gave the truth to the wielder whenever he made a cut or stab. Valdor was able to use the Apollonian Spear to determine his location on the Vengeful Spirit by stabbing the ship. So that was pretty handy. Constantine left his spear with his custodes before he vanished, whilst Russ stored his spear in the tomb of a fallen space wolf who used it to help defeat Magnus the Red, on one of the billion occasions where the Space Wolves kicked his ass. It occasionally gets brought out as a Space Wolf relic for whenever some nerds need to be shown their place, but for the most part it's gone and buried. With Valdor's imminent return, as well as Russ's return also on the cards, it's likely both Primarchs will end up with their spears being returned to them at some point. Next up is the Emperor's Bolter. Because of course the Biggie has a
Dude,
gun. It's a sci-fi setting after all.
so
This
dope.
gun has even less lore than the Emperor's Talon.
He really doesn't even
However,
need a
what
gun,
we do
dude.
know is that it was more of a fun project for the Emperor and less of an essential weapon.
Yeah.
It was one of the first bolt guns ever made, invented by the Emperor as a prototype. As time went on, the Emperor continually upgraded and evolved his bolt gun. It didn't appear to be infused with his essence like a lot of his other stuff, more so it was just a master-crafted gun. Probably the best bolt gun in the galaxy, and would probably be able to one-shot anyone who found themselves on the wrong end of the barrel. I'm not really
'Cause why
sure
not?
which loyalist, if any, would return
You know, not because the bolters are already stupidly OP, right?
with this. Maybe it would be
Crazy,
like a
bro.
sidearm for someone like Rogel or Vulcan. Lastly, we have the Emperor's armor, called the One True Armor because of course it is. The armor itself is master-crafted auroramite infused with psychic properties. The most significant of these properties being the ability to resize based on the Emperor's will.
What?
The Emperor could grow to be the size of a Titan or be as small as a normal man.
Whoa.
So he obviously didn't want to burst
forgot
out of
about
his
that,
armor
dude.
every time he wanted to do so. Auroramite is the greatest alloy in the Imperium.
amazing.
Stronger, lighter, and more durable than ceramite. Only the Emperor and his custodies were allowed to use it. Even the Primarchs weren't given auroramite armor. When the Emperor was entombed within the Golden Throne, his arm was taken off and melted down into small fragments. Those fragments were then distributed throughout the Loyalist legions to be placed upon the left shoulder plate on every unit of Terminator armor. They were shaped into a special symbol and called the Crux Terminatus. Over time, many pieces have been lost, so only the greatest Marines can use Terminator armor blessed with the Crux Terminatus. However, the Grey Knights are allowed to have one on every single piece of Terminator armor because they are Daddy's favorites. It's unclear what effect, if any, the Crux Terminatus has, but since it did come from the Emperor's own
Probably
battle plate,
will.
we can assume it provides some kind of warding. Probably some anti-chaos aspect, I'd imagine. The right gauntlet of the Emperor's armor was taken by the Dark Angels, who used it to create a shitload of Crux Terminatuses, as nobody likes Terminators more than the Dark Angels. Keep in mind, this is all pretty old lore, but I seriously doubt a new Loyalist
Suit's
Primarch would return
crazy
with the
cool
Emperor's
looking,
full battle
dude.
plate as their choice of armament. Just seems kind of disrespectful, you know? If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up the
If there's one thing Warhammer does really well that I will always support is their uniqueness of armor to the characters. It is so well done. It is amazing. I wish other universes had that same kind of creativity to it. It looks amazing. It gives each person their own individuality. It looks awesome. I love that about Warhammer. I love that a lot. That was amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I want to apologize also for the late a little bit as well too. It's like getting a little later now, and it's either like you see me like this or you don't see me at all. So apologize. I don't have one of those fancy cameras or lights. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know I did. I hope I can find a little more lore about his armor, or if there even is any more. I like to see how this this story continues a little bit, to see what they do more with his armor and weaponry and whatnot. I want a little more about it, but that was amazing. Hope you guys enjoyed the video again as much as I did. Like always, read your video in the description. Make sure to check them out. If you guys enjoy my content, if you guys enjoy my reactions, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.